everybody, what's going on? It's Emma here, Curbside Herbs. So today we're going to take you on a very quick garden tour of some of the things we have in our garden. We will start here. This is our strawberry box. You can see it's more of a tower. We have this super cool sprinkler head on top, so it automatically waters the strawberries every morning. You can see here we have a berry coming in. Then this box, which is a little overgrown, we have some oregano, which we're letting go to seed. Over here we have our lavender. And then we have our peppermint. Over here we have our yarrow, which if you saw a video early in the summer of us harvesting some yarrow flowers. Then we have our parsley. This is Italian flat-leaf parsley. We'll be harvesting some of that either tonight or tomorrow. Then we have some rosemary here. We have some oregano, which decided to randomly plant itself here. And then in amongst some of these weeds, we have some thyme. I'm sorry about the weeds. We've been so busy and crazy with harvesting and dehydrating, we haven't had time to come out and do a lot of weeding. We have a rogue piece of lettuce here that we're letting go to seed. Over here we have our sage. And then over here we have more oregano, and then on the other side, it's hard to see it, here is some lemon balm. And then we have our chives. Over here is another oregano bin. You can see here we have a bee that was flying around. They love the oregano. We have some more oregano over here. And then over here is part of our wildflower field. You can see all of the pretty flowers and part of our milkweed patch. The milkweed patch goes way into the wildflower field. Then we have more wildflowers over here. We love the wildflowers. Besides, it looks pretty, and they're also good for the bees. And then on to the main section of the garden, we have a rogue sunflower that randomly seeded itself in our first row. We have a couple of tomatoes. These were tomatoes that I grew from seed that stunted themselves and just stopped growing. But I don't like to throw out any plants. I like to give all my plants a chance. So I planted them and they ended up thriving, and you can see them producing tomatoes. We have some cucumber plants here. These plants I planted just to let them go to seed. Then, as I said, our rogue sunflower. You can see how tall it is. We have dill here. You can see it's starting to flower. We have carrots here. And then we have some peppers. Some peppers here. That one right there, that red one is going to be a red knight. And then the next row here, this is all hot peppers. We have jalapenos, Hungarian hot wax, hot Portugals, cherry hearts, Judah ghost peppers, cayenne red embers, all sorts of different hot peppers. You can see then we have some flowers here, and then this row here, this whole row, is green lady bell peppers. They're great to cook with or just to eat. We plant so many of them because what we end up doing is I make stuffed peppers and we have veggies and dip and stuff. But I like to chop them up and put them in the freezer for over the summer, well, and the winters, for like all year round. I don't know if you can see, but over there, that just landed on the post was this beautiful hummingbird. So we chop up the peppers so we can use them all year round to cook with. I just fling them in the freezer. I like to dehydrate them too, because they make good presents dehydrated. And then this row is tomatoes. You can see all the little tiny cherry tomatoes that we have here. Absolutely delicious, warm from the sun right off the vine. You can see, and it's going to be hard to see, but right there is a green bell pepper. And then, so the first couple are cherry tomatoes, and then they're hard to see, but then we have Romas and we have big boys back there. So we have about 32 to 36 tomatoes. And then the green bell peppers, there's 32 to 36, and there's 72 hot peppers. And then after that we have, this was lettuce, but then it got hot out. We have dill, and then after the dill, it's very hard to see, but we have celery and kale and more carrots and a zucchini plant. And then here we have a couple of rolled milkweeds and some popcorn. And then we have our French climbing beans. You can see them there on the trellis. The trellis is basically just cattle fencing that we cut to the size we wanted. And it's great because, as you can see, all the beans now, they grow up the trellis. And then it's so easy just to walk along and pick them. We have harvested over 14 pounds of French climbing beans out of our garden so far, and I'm hoping to get another 8 to 14 pounds before the end of the season. Then in this row we have, first we have our loofah gourds. You can see a baby loofah there. And then we have a couple more spread out. Then we have acorn squash, which you can see we have one there that needs to be picked. And then we have some enrichia and some birdhouse gourds. It's going to be hard to see, but all the way on the back wall there is a birdhouse gourd. And then that beautiful flowering purple flower bush is a butterfly bush that my mom gave us a couple of years ago. And then we have sunflowers. This row here has some sunflowers. Then it also has more popcorn back there and some more sunflowers. And then we have just a whole row of sunflowers. These sunflowers have got to be 6 to 8 feet tall. You can see how big some of the heads are. And then behind the sunflowers, we have more wildflowers. And even more wildflowers for the bees. We have a couple of berry bushes here. These are raspberries. Our project for next year is we need to rework this whole area so it doesn't get as many weeds and it does better for the berries. We have more milkweed behind the garden. You can see the milkweed pods. We have a blueberry bush. Then over here we have another blueberry bush. And then, so this is all wildflowers, and mixed in the wildflowers is some pawpaw trees. And last but not least, again, more wildflowers, which is great for the bees and the bugs. And last but not least, we have our beehives. You can see them both, 1, 2. You can see them there in the one hive just buzzing in and out and buzzing all about. And there is the other hive. And there you have it. There's some of our garden. We really hope you enjoyed this video. Comment below and let us know what you grew this year in your garden and how your garden's doing. We'd love to hear how your summer went with gardening.